Hello everyone, and welcome to the Solo Gamers Club. This is Keith, and tonight I'm going to be previewing my latest edition of Last Night on Earth, the zombie game, the campaign system. In my previous video, I gave the viewers an outline of what I'm working on in the development of this campaign system, and it's basically a system to link several scenarios together to form a larger narrative in the world of Last Night on Earth. In this video, I'll show you how to set up the game for campaign play, and we'll begin our first scenario. We begin the setup by getting out our campaign map, and we're going to randomly distribute 16 cubes in all of the square locations on the map. Now in the campaign system, we're going to be using basically 5 different types of cubes. 4 of them are resources. We've got the yellow, which are gas. We can use that to fuel a car or a vehicle, and we'll be able to move on the campaign map faster. The blue are ammunition. Sometimes we need that ammunition during the resolution of travel events, and we can use them in the scenarios to act as an ammo card. The red are medicine, and we can use those in between scenarios to heal up any ongoing wounds or infections that any of our characters might have. And then finally the orange, those are going to be food, and we'll need that to prevent our party from taking wound damage due to hunger. And we have to expend one of those during the start of each of the scenario, I should say campaign turns. So we're going to begin by placing 4 of each of those kind into a draw bag, and then we will randomly distribute them on the locations around the board, the square locations. All right, so we've randomly dispersed these starting resources in each of the spaces. When the group of survivors moves into one of the square locations, they're able to claim that resource. At the start of the game, the heroes will begin with 1 of each type of resource, and they can gain additional resources due to travel events, or by moving into the squares, or after they successfully complete a scenario, they're able to draw 1 from our draw bag. We also have a resource draw bag. This is going to consist of a total of 5 yellow, 5 blue, 3 red, and 6 orange, along with 3 green cubes. The green cubes are going to form a part of how we can possibly win the scenario. That is information tokens, and that will lead us towards one of the locations on the map where we can actually escape from this area and win the campaign. To determine our starting position on the campaign map and our first scenario, we're going to be rolling on the starting scenario chart. It's a D8 table, and this will give us a thematic scenario that we can begin the campaign with. So we'll roll a D8 and see which scenario we will have to face first. The result is a 4, and that is broken down. 4 friends are going on a fishing trip when their truck develops mechanical problems. Unbeknownst to them, the town they have entered has been invaded by a horde of zombies. They must repair their truck and drive out of town to alert the authorities. And we're going to begin in the town of Cornucopia. So we're going to place our position marker in the town of Cornucopia, and we'll be able to claim the cube that's there. So we've got 2 ammunition and 1 of each of the other resources. That's where we're going to begin the campaign, and we're going to be resolving broken down scenario. And so let's take a look at the broken down scenario. It's 14 turns long, And the scenario objectives are as follows. At the start of the game, randomly place the number counters marked 1 through 6 face down into random buildings. Limit 1 per building. These 6 number counters represent possible locations of the tools needed to repair the truck. A building with a number counter on it may not be taken over. Number 2, the heroes then place the broken down truck in any space on the town center board. All of the heroes will start in that space with the truck. As normal, fire may not start in or spread into the space with the truck. Number 3, we're going to roll a d6 to determine which number counter represents the tools. Instead of searching, a hero in a building with a number counter can reveal the counter. When the hero finds the tools, place that marker on the hero card. It does not count against the hero's carrying limit and may be dropped in a space or freely passed between heroes in the same space. If the hero is killed, the marker is dropped in their space, and any other hero moving through the space can pick it up for free. Number 4, to repair the truck. Any hero starting in the space with the truck and the tools may give up their action and discard 2 event cards from any mix of hero player hands. This places 1 experience token on the truck. The heroes must place a total of 3 tokens to fully repair the truck. The heroes win by ending a turn with at least 2 heroes in the space with the fully repaired truck. The zombies will win by killing 3 heroes or if the sun sets. All right, next we're going to determine which heroes we'll be using for this scenario. We gather all of our hero character cards and we're going to remove the survivor versions of Sally, Sheriff Anderson, and Jake Cartwright, and we're going to put those back into the box. Those are advanced versions of the characters, and since we're just starting the campaign, we'll be using only their basic versions. Then we're going to shuffle these hero character sheets and we're going to draw 6 of them. And we will select 4 of those 6 to begin the scenario with. The other 2 will be shuffled back into the character deck, and they could come in as replacements in the future. All right, these are the 6 heroes that I've randomly chosen from the deck. We've got Kenny, the supermarket bag boy, Deputy Taylor, Sam the diner cook, Rochelle, Detective Winters, Becky the nurse, and Jake Cartwright the drifter. After examining these, I've decided to go with these 4 characters. Checking their special rules, we find out that Rochelle is going to begin with a revolver and a flashlight, so we'll get those out of the hero deck and give them to her. So we've given Detective Winters the revolver and the flashlight. Next, we're going to create our game board per the scenario instructions. In this case, this is a standard game board. And on the campaign map, we've determined that Cornucopia is a town, a city. So we'll be using this table and randomly rolling a d8 to determine which tiles are going to make up the board and in what positions they're going to go. What I'd like to do is I normally will start in the northwest quadrant, make a d8 roll, and place that tile in that position. And I'll keep going in a clockwise fashion till we've built the board. All right, our game board consists of the cornfield, barn, and farmhouse in the northwest corner, general store, gun shop, and the plant in the northeast, library, antique shop, and the factory in the southeast, and finally the church, graveyard, and police station in the southwest corner. The scenario instructions tell us that we can place the broken down truck in any space on the town center board. All the heroes will start in the space with the truck. As normal, fire may not start in or spread to the space with the truck. Well, I think to be on the safe side, we're going to place the truck right in the middle. And that's where our party will begin. Next, we're instructed to get out the 6 number counters, and we're going to randomly place them into buildings, and that's going to represent our tools. So I've randomized a stack of 6 number counters, and we're going to randomly place them in random buildings. And if you need random buildings, it's very simple. You're going to roll a d6 to determine the quadrant, and you'll roll another d6 to determine the individual building location. As an example, if we rolled a 3 for location and a 3 for a specific building, that would be the barn. All right, so we've randomly placed our number markers, one in the barn, one in the general store, one in the gun shop, one in the plant, one in the library, and another in the police station. And incidentally, these tokens, they're not in a specific place. It's actually anywhere within that building. Any space that you move into in that building is you have access to that number. It's not the exact location on the board where that token is. Now we're instructed to roll a d6 and determine which number counter will represent the tools. I'm going to use this small little white d6, and I'll be able to place that in the truck as a reminder. Here's the roll. We've rolled a 3, so counter number 3 is going to be the tools. Now we'll set up our decks. As a part of my solitaire rules, we take out all of the zombie fight cards and place them into its own deck. And those will be used during the scenario. On a roll of a 9 or 10 with a d10, the zombies will be able to draw a card from their fight deck. Now as for the other decks, you can see when you have all of the expansions that in the game, like I have, you get this huge bloat of zombie deck and hero deck. So I have some rules to try to address that. The designers have attempted to address this. They have several cards that will tell you to remove 10 cards from the hero deck or 5. But my method is going to be to create 2 decks totaling 65 cards. 65 zombie cards, 65 hero cards. And that's the amount of cards that come in the 10th anniversary edition. So that is evidently what the designers are intending for the size of these decks. Our first step is to examine the scenario, and if there were any scenario search cards listed, we would get those out of the hero deck and set them aside according to a table that I have. In this case, there are no scenario search items. So all we have to do is shuffle our hero deck and our zombie deck, and then we're going to pull out 65 cards from each of those. The other ones will go back into the box sight unseen. And so we've created a hero deck of 65 cards, zombie deck of 65 cards, and all zombie fight cards. Then we create our zombie pool, and in this case there are no scenario special rules, so we're going to use the standard 14 zombies, 7 brown and 7 green, and place them into the zombie pool. Now the broken down scenario does not have any special scenario rules, but we can add them in using the dot system. If we like certain modules to play with in the game, as long as we keep it even, where we have, say, a total of 3 dots for the zombies and 3 dots for the heroes, we can use them in any combination we choose to add in extra modules into the game. Now the only rules that are in place all the time are the scenario special rules, always zombie heroes, and heroes replenish. So those will be active, and I don't think I'm going to add any dots into this scenario. Our job is to find those tools and try to repair the truck. So I think what we'll do is we'll play just a plain Jane game, and we're going to have just those two special rules active, always zombie heroes and heroes replenish. So our final step in the setup is to roll 2d6 and place that many starting zombies on the board. Okay, here is the roll. And we've rolled 8, so we'll be placing 8 zombies on the board. And what I like to do is to roll a d6 and determine the starting point of where the zombies are going to be starting to be placed, and then I go in a clockwise fashion until I've exhausted them. So here's the roll. 5. Okay, 5 is in this quadrant, so we'll be starting by placing a zombie in quadrant 5, and then we will keep going in a clockwise fashion. If they're evenly numbered, it doesn't matter, but if you had an odd number of zombies, it would matter. So I'll place those out on the board. Another thing that I like to do at setup is I like to assign a number to each of the heroes. In case I need to determine a random hero, I can easily roll, in this case, a d4, and it will instantly get us the hero in question. So Rachel's going to be 1, Sam 2, Becky 3, Jake Cartwright will be 4. Now normally when the heroes begin the game in the center of the board, they're entitled to 1 hero card, but the broken down scenario does not say that. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any starting hero cards. So in order to win the game, we're going to need to not only locate the tools, which is going to be token number 3, but we're going to have to repair the truck. So we'll have to bring those tools back to the truck, and then during our turn, we'll be able to discard 2 event cards and place an experience token on the truck. And when we get 3 of them on the truck, it's fully repaired. And we can win the game by ending a turn with at least 2 heroes in the space with the fully repaired truck. Now the zombies are going to win by killing 3 heroes, or if the sun track goes to 0. So we'll have to be careful that we don't allow the zombies to kill too many of us. In this scenario, and we're going to begin with the zombie turn. All right, per the scenario instructions, it's going to be 14 turns, so we set our sun track at 14 to start. Next, we're going to draw our zombie cards. All right, in my solitaire rules, we reduce the number of zombie cards from 4 down to 3. That's to account for the fact that we have zombie fight cards in a separate deck, and those will be active on a roll of a 9 or 10 every time a zombie gets into a fight. Our initial cards are Growing Hunger, Spreading Flames, and New Spawning Pit. We have to play the Play Immediately cards immediately, so we will start doing that. First one is Growing Hunger. While this card is in play, all zombies roll an extra fight dice. Discard this card if any hero is killed or turned into a zombie hero, and that's a remains in play card, so we can attempt to discard that with a game action if we are able to. The next one is New Spawning Pit. Play immediately. Roll a random building, and the zombie player will place a new zombie spawning pit marker in any space of that building. All right, so I'm going to roll 2 dice, a red and a blue. The red will tell us the quadrant, and the blue will tell us the individual building. Here's the roll. All right, so we've got 5 and 5. So building number 5 is going to be the factory. So we'll be placing a spawning pit in the factory. And I guess we will place that right here. All right, the final zombie card is Spreading Flames. It says play at the start of the zombie turn. to do one of the following. Place a fire marker in the same space as a zombie or in a space adjacent to another fire marker. Or choose a hero with a fire item and roll the d6. On a roll of 4, 5, or 6, place a fire marker in that hero space. All right. Well, fortunately, none of the heroes have any fire items, so they'll have to play the top portion. It says place a fire marker in the same space as a zombie or in a space adjacent to another fire marker. So they're going to place it in a space with a zombie. And I guess we'll place that randomly using a d6, and we'll determine which quadrant it's going to start in. Results of 3, and 3 is in the northwest quadrant. So we're going to have to place that fire marker in the space with these two zombies up here. And we have to play this card because it says play at the start of the zombie turn. And we're always trying to have the zombie player use all of his cards if possible. The start of the zombie turn is any time until a model is moved. So we've done that, and that is exhausted all of the zombie cards. They have that growing hunger card which is active, and that's going to give them an extra fight dice until we either cancel the card or until a hero is killed or turned into a zombie hero. The next step is roll to spawn new zombies. All right, we've got a total of 8 on the board, so we're going to need to get a roll of 9 or greater to spawn new zombies. Here is the roll. And they've rolled a 4, so there'll be no new zombies this turn, which is a good thing for us. Next is step 4, and all the zombies are going to move. And they move according to some specific rules that I have in the solo rule book that I've created. And basically what they're doing is they're, for the most part, using the standard rules that are in the book, meaning that the zombies will move always towards the heroes, but in some cases they can move to block escape or to prevent heroes from entering a door. So there's specific rules for that. So all the zombies now will move one space towards the heroes. Now before we move these zombies in the northwest corner, that's where the fire started. And according to the fire rules, it says when a fire marker is placed in a space, any model there will take a wound on a d6 roll of 4, 5, or 6. 5 or 6 if it is a zombie. So we're going to roll 2 dice, one for each of the zombies in that space. And on a 5 or 6, they're going to take a wound and they'll be destroyed. Okay, we have 1 6, so one of the zombies was burned up in the fire. He'll go back into the pool. The other zombie will make his movement towards the heroes. Our next step is to place newly spawned zombies. Well, we've determined there won't be any this turn. So we'll move on to the end of the zombie turn, and that's where we're going to have this fire phase. And in this case, we have a new fire that started. So we're going to flip that to an active fire. Starting next turn, we're going to be making a roll to see if the fire will go out or if it will spread. Now we'll shift on to the hero phase, and we know that we've got to examine these buildings with these tokens in there to try to find the tools. So that's going to be our first mission. And I think I'm going to begin with Detective Rachel Winters. She has that revolver that we can use during the ranged attack step. So we're going to have her make a roll for movement and see what she comes up with. She's got a 1. Okay, so only 1 space. All right. Well, I guess I'll have her jump out of the back of the truck and move into that space. There, she's going to conduct a ranged attack using her revolver. All right, Detective Winters is going to use her revolver, and that has a range of 3. She's going to target one of those 2 zombies coming out of the plant. And she's going to hit on a 4+. On a roll of 1, the revolver is out of ammo. Now I should point out that we started the campaign with 2 blue cubes. And those are considered to be ammunition, and we can use them not only in the campaign portion of the game, but they can be used. This is the only resource that we can use during a scenario. So this would give us the ability for those cubes to act as though we had ammunition, and that would prevent us from having to lose a ranged weapon in that case. So in this case, Detective Winters is going to target one of the two zombies to the east of her coming out of the plant, and she'll make a roll. Here is the shot with her revolver. She's rolled a 6, and that is a hit, and she's taken out one of the zombies. That's going to earn her an experience point. So we've placed that zombie that she killed back into the zombie pool. She's earned herself 1 XP. And that is going to bring her turn to a close, and we'll mark her as previously activated. What I like to do is I take their number markers and I simply invert them. That tells me that they've taken their turn. All right, we're going to have to try to get some of our heroes into these buildings to examine these tokens, and hopefully we can find token number 3 quickly. So I think I'm going to activate Jake Cartwright. We'll have him go next, and here's his roll for move. He's rolled a 3, so he's got 3 movement points, and I think we'll try to head him in to the northeast. There's not many zombies up there, so we'll have him move 1, 2, and 3. He'll try to make his way to the general store. That's going to bring his turn to a close, and we'll mark him as previously activated. Next up is Becky, the nurse, and we'll activate her. Okay, she's rolled a 6 for movement. She's got 6 movement points. That's great. And I think we will bring her up to the gun shop. So we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, and she'll enter the gun shop. Since she's in a building with one of those tokens, next turn, instead of performing a search or a move, she'll be able to examine that token. If we can find token 3, we'll have the tools. All right, that brings Becky's turn to a close, and all we have left now is Sam the diner cook. Here's his roll for move. He's rolled a 2, so he's only got 2 movement points. And we have to decide what we want to do here. I guess we could try to get him towards the police station, so I'll do that. 1 and 2. All right, that's going to bring the hero turns to a close, and we'll move on to a new zombie round. So an interesting first turn. We've got a fire started up in the barn. Evidently one of these dumb zombies must have knocked over a lantern or something and started a fire in the barn. Okay, the zombie turn is next, and we'll start by moving the sun tracker. We're down to 13. All right, the zombie cards for this turn consist of Shamble, Haunted by the Past, and Trapped. This card will be played during the Move Zombie step. This one is played during the start of a zombie turn. This card will be played at the end of a zombie turn. So, since this is the start of a zombie turn, we're going to play these 2 cards. The trapped card will be played at the end of the zombie turn. We'll start out with this Haunted by the Past card. It says, play this card at the start of a zombie turn on any hero that does not have the keyword student. That hero gains the keyword strange and may not have any townsfolk events played on them or their fight dice, and that remains in play. All right, we'll have to select a character that is not a student and play the card on them. And this is where the number tokens come in real handy. We need to play that zombie card on one of the heroes that doesn't have the keyword student. And I don't believe any of these will. Law enforcement, military, medical, and strange. So we'll make a D4 and we'll play that Haunted by the Past card on that character. Rolls a 1, and that's going to be played on Detective Rochelle Winters. So we'll play that card on her. She is going to gain the keyword strange now, which she did not have. And we cannot play any townsfolk events on her. Okay. All right, our next step is to roll to spawn new zombies. We have a total of 6 zombies on the board, so any roll above a 6 will spawn some new ones. And they've rolled a 4, so still no spawned. That's great for us. Next, we'll go to our move zombie step, and the zombies are going to play this shamble card. Play this card to move a zombie d6 spaces instead of its normal move. And I like to usually use these cards with the zombie that's furthest from any hero. So we'll see if we can determine that. And it looks like the zombies that are furthest would be this group of zombies in the southwest or northwest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be either of those two. So I guess we'll just make a die roll and determine which grouping is going to move. We'll go odd or even. And it is odd, so we'll be doing the zombie in the northwest, and he'll be using the shamble card. So we'll make a d6 roll and move him accordingly. The result is a 5. He's got 5 movement points this turn. So let's see who he can reach here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to come and attack Detective Winters. That'll be his move. Shamble card is played, and now we will move all the other zombies their normal moves. All right, all of the zombies have moved, and we're going to have our first fight. And that is going to be Detective Winters against this zombie. All right, so that shambling zombie has kind of surprised Detective Winters. Our first step now is to roll a d10 and determine if a zombie fight card is going to be active. All right, on a 9 or 10, the zombie will have a fight card. Result is a 6, so no fight card. Detective Winters is going to have a total of 2 fight dice. That's her standard fight dice that she's able to roll. And the zombies normally get 1. But this growing hunger card is active. And that says while this card is in play, all zombies roll an extra fight dice, so they're going to get 2. This might not be too good for us. So we'll see what happens. Give them a roll. Check the result. Okay, here's the roll. All right, Detective Winters has a 6, but no doubles. Zombie's best dice is a 3, so she's managed to stave them off, and the zombie is staved off for the moment. All right, the next step would be to place newly spawned zombies. There won't be any. So now we're going to go to the fire phase and see what's happening with that fire up in the barn. All right, consulting our fire marker card, it says during the fire phase, after the zombie turn, roll a d6 for every existing fire. On a roll of 1, it's going to go out. And on a roll of 5 or 6, it's going to spread. All right, so we will roll a d6 and see what the status of that fire will be. Okay, here's the roll. The roll is a 2. So a 2 is no effect, evidently. So it's going to continue to burn in the barn. Now this is the end of the zombie turn, and we have this trapped card. It says play this card at the end of the zombie turn to choose a hero and roll a d6. Immediately place that many zombies from your zombie pool in any spaces adjacent to the chosen hero. Limit 1 new zombie per adjacent space. All right, well, I guess what we'll do, we're going to roll a d4 to determine which hero is in question. The result is a 4, and that's Jake Cartwright. So we'll go to Jake and see how many zombies are going to appear adjacent to him. Okay, here's the roll. And of course, it would be 6 zombies are going to appear in adjacent spaces to him. So we'll place them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And he's basically surrounded. He has no escape route. He's going to have to go through one of the spaces with a zombie, and that's going to end his movement. Not good. So all of the zombie cards have been played. That's our job, is to attempt to play all the zombie cards if possible. Any cards that remain at the end of the turn are cycled, they're placed into the discard, and a fresh set of 3 cards will be drawn the next turn. Okay, that completes the zombies activation. We'll go with the heroes. Well, I guess we're going to start by activating Jake Cartwright. He is surrounded. Well, we'll see how many movement points he gets. It won't matter because he has to stop when he enters a space with a zombie. He rolled a 2, so we have to pick a direction for him to move. And what we're trying to do is limit the amount of zombies that might be able to attack him. I think our best bet, that's a tough one. Well, he needs some help. I guess we will move him into this space. That'll at least somewhat limit the number of zombies that will be able to attack him. And he has to fight the zombies now. All right. Well, he's going to get a total of 2 dice for his normal 2 dice effect. The zombies will also get 2 dice because of the growing hunger card that is active. All right. We'll make the fight dice attack. Here's Jake attacking the zombie. All right, we got pretty lucky. Jake has a 5 and the zombies have a 3, so we've managed to fend off that zombie. And Jake has kind of managed to slip by him a little bit, at least until next turn. We'll see what happens. All right, Becky is up in the gun shop. She's in a space with one of those tokens, so we'll have her roll for movement and just see what she's able to get. More than likely, we're going to leave her there and have her do a special search for that token. Here's the roll. Well, she has a 6 for movement. That's too bad. Normally that would be very good, but I'm wondering, I think we're going to have to do it. We've got to find the tools. So in lieu of doing a normal search, she's going to flip over that token, and we're looking for token number 3, which is going to be the tools. It's 5, so that's not the tools. And that's going to bring her turn to a close. Well, it looks like Jake could use a little help, so I think we are going to activate Detective Winters, and we'll see how much movement she gets, and hopefully maybe she can move and try to take out some of the zombies that are plaguing him. Here's her movement roll. Rolls a 3. Okay, she's got 3 movement points. And let's see here. Well, it might be a good time to try to get up to the barn. There's no zombies up there at the moment. So I'll have her move 1, 2, and 3. And from there, she's going to, well, I might be better off. We would like to target one of the adjacent ones that is going to be coming after Jake. So I'll try to move her in a way that she still has a 3 points of distance. 1, 2, 3. So we'll get her there. 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, 3. She's still in range of that zombie. All right. All right, she's going to use her revolver, has a range of 3, and she's going to target this zombie here. She needs a 4 or better for success. Here's the roll. She's rolled a 1, and that means that the revolver is out of ammunition. Well, she's going to use one of the blue cubes, and that will prevent her loss of ammo. That's considered just a miss then. All right, that's going to bring her turn to a close. And what we have left now is Sam the diner cook. All right, I think Sam's going to try to get into the police station and see if he can find out if the tools are in there. Here's his roll for movement. He's rolled a 3, and that's enough. So he'll move 1 and 2 into the police station. A couple zombies here nearby, but hopefully he can resolve whether the tools are in there and quickly escape from there before he has to deal with those zombies. And that is going to bring the hero turn to a close, and we'll move back to another zombie turn. We'll begin with the sun track step and moves down to 12. We've got 12 turns left. Now we're going to draw our new hand of zombie cards. All right, the 3 zombie cards are Outsider, Oh the Horror, and another Shamble card. We have to play this Play Immediately card right now. And it says, draw 3 zombie cards. At the start of your next turn, if you have more cards than your hand size will allow, discard down to the normal limit. So we're going to get 3 more zombie cards this turn. Let's see what the new ones are. First one is Dead End. Second one is Unnecessary Self-Sacrifice. And the third is a Lights Out card. All right, we're going to arrange these cards in the order that they will be played, and we'll play them when appropriate. All right, the first eligible card is Outsider. Play this card at the start of a zombie turn on any hero. That hero may no longer use building special abilities, and that remains in play. So we're going to select a random hero. So we'll roll a d4 using our hero numbers. And we rolled a 2, and that is Sam the diner cook. So he's going to have this Outsider card played on him. Next is a Lights Out card. Play this card at the start of the zombie turn on any building to place a Lights Out marker on it. The zombies have cut the power. Any hero moving into a space within this building immediately ends their move. All right, well, we're going to place this randomly. Now, if we chose, we could just simply place the Lights Out token in the most advantageous place, but I kind of like the random elements of this. So we'll do a random building roll to find out where the Lights Out will take place. Okay, the roll is a 6. That's Zombie's Choice. So I guess in this case, since it's Zombie's Choice, we'll play that Lights Out card in the most advantageous place that we can. And that would definitely be in a building where there is one of those tokens that we're going to be attempting to find the tools with. So I think we will place that in, I guess we'll place it in the general store. So they've cut the power to the general store, and we have to stop moving as soon as we enter a space of the building. The exception is Detective Winter. She has a flashlight, and she's can ignore the effects of Lights Out. All right, that's all of the zombie cards we can play at this moment. We'll be able to use a Shamble card during the movement phase, but that'll end all of the card play for the start of the zombie turn. All right, our next step is to roll to spawn new zombies. Well, we've got a total of 12 zombies on the board. There's only 2 into the zombie pool, and none will be able to spawn. We can't roll higher than a 12 with 2 dice. So we'll move on to the next step, and that's move zombies. And they're going to play, once again, a Shamble card. Play this card to move a zombie d6 spaces instead of its normal move. Flavor text says, look out. All right, let's see who we want to select for this. Well, it looks like it's going to be probably this zombie here. would be the farthest away. So let's see how far he's going to move. He's rolled a 4, so he's got 4 movement points this turn. And let's see where he can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he'll be able to reach the space with, unfortunately, Jake Cartwright. All right, now the other zombies will move their normal movement. All right, the zombies have moved, and unfortunately, Jake Cartwright is under a heavy attack just south of the general store. He's going to have to fight against 3 zombies. The other zombie cards that they have are Dead End and Unnecessary Self-Sacrifice. And that requires either 2 heroes to be in the same space or for a hero to enter a forest space or a spawning pit. None of those have happened yet. We'll take care of the terrible attack on Jake Cartwright. All right, here's the first of 3 attacks against Jake Cartwright. We'll start out with a check to see if there will be a zombie fight card. The result is a 9, and there will be. And we'll see what the zombie fight card is for this first attack. That one is listed as Loss of Faith. Play to cancel a faith card, or fight. Choose a hand weapon that the hero has. That hand weapon may not be used in the fight. Well, Jake doesn't have any weapons, so it'll be a straight up fight. The growing hunger is still active, so each side is going to get 2 dice for this fight, and we'll have to hope that Jake can somehow survive this. Okay, here is the roll. Well, Jake has rolled doubles, but unfortunately they are not higher than the zombie dice. Zombies are going to do 1 wound of damage to Jake, earning themselves experience point. All right, that was the first of 3 zombie attacks against Jake Cartwright. He has 1 wound. He can take 1 more. If he takes a 3rd, he will succumb to the zombies. Okay, here's the second attack. And we will also roll to see if there's another fight card for that one. This is the middle zombie coming after him. He's rolled a 10, and there will be another fight card. This time it is Pulled Away. Play at the start of a fight before fight dice are rolled to choose an item the hero has, except a scenario search item, and roll a d6 on a 4+. Discard the item. Well, once again, Jake doesn't have any items, so we will be resolving our fight. 2 dice apiece, because we got to get rid of that growing hunger card. It's terrible. Here's the roll. And Jake has won. No, he hasn't. He's got doubles, but he's not higher than the highest die of the zombies. He's going to take another wound. Oh no. All right, poor Jake Cartwright has taken his 2nd wound. He's on his last legs. 1 more wound is going to turn him into zombie Jake Cartwright. All right, this is the 3rd and final zombie attack on Jake. Let's see if he has a fight card. He's rolled a 7, so he doesn't. So it's just going to be 2 dice apiece. And if Jake doesn't win this, he is going to turn into a zombie. Here's the roll. And luckily for us, Jake has won 6-5, and he's managed to fend off that zombie. All right. All right, that is going to complete the zombie turn. All we have left now is to roll to determine if that fire is going to spread in the barn. Okay, here's the roll. On a 5 or 6, it's going to spread. On a 1, it is extinguished. Rolls a 3, so it's just going to continue to burn in its present location. All right, that brings the zombie turn to a close. We'll move on to the next hero turn. All right, I guess we're going to start with Jake Cartwright. He is the one that is basically surrounded over there. So we'll have him roll a die for movement. He needs a good move here, I'll tell you that. Here's the roll. He's rolled a 4, so that's pretty good. Let's see if we can kind of extract him from the area. And we can. Good place for him might be in the cornfield. It's a safer place for him until we can get him kind of repaired. Becky does have first aid, and she would be able to heal a wound from him. So, that's interesting. That is interesting. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll have Jake do this. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can maybe try to get him into the library. This will limit it somewhat to the number of zombies that can reach him. All right, that's going to be Jake's turn. There's nothing else for him to do. Next up, I think we'll get Becky moving. We'll see if we can get her maybe into the plant where she can search for that other token that's there. Here's the roll. She's rolled a 4, so she's got 4 movement points. And I think we'll have her move. 1, 2, 3. We'll have her move there. And that will bring her turn to a close. Next up, I think we'll have Sam move. Sam is he's in a building at the police station with a token, so he probably won't move, but he'll more than likely have to undergo a couple of attacks the next turn, but let's see what he gets. He's rolled a 1, so he's not going to be able to move very far anyway. We'll keep him there, and in lieu of searching, he's going to turn over that token and see if we can get the tools. All right, Sam is at the police station. He's going to turn over this token, and hopefully it's number 3. It's number 6, so he hasn't found the tools yet. And that's going to bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to Detective Rachel Winters. Okay, Detective Winters will roll for move. She's got a 5. All right, that's good. I'm going to try to get her in a position where she can use her revolver, still staying somewhat out of range, and maybe she can take out one of those zombies that would be plaguing Sam. Let's see what we can do here. I guess she's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I go in the church, she can still target that one. So we'll move into the church because she might be able to do a search there next turn. She'll move into the church. Next step is going to be to use ranged weapons, her ranged attack. She's going to target that zombie outside the police station. All right, here's a ranged attack against that zombie. It's a range of 2. Here's the roll. She's rolled a 3, and that's a miss, unfortunately. All right. And that's going to bring the hero turn to a close. And I think this will be a good opportunity where we can end this video and get ready for episode 2 of our campaign playthrough of Last Night on Earth. So far, the heroes are doing okay. We've managed to check 2 of the building locations in search of the tools. We haven't found them yet. And unfortunately, Jake Cartwright has 2 of his 3 health boxes are filled, so that's going to be a problem. Right now, we've got 12 of the 14 zombies are out on the board, and we have threats to Sam, the diner cook, at the police station. So we'll see what happens in our next episode. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Solo Gamers Club. I hope you're enjoying this playthrough of Last Night on Earth, the campaign. When we finish this scenario, we'll be moving on to the campaign aspects of the game, and we'll see how travel on the campaign map and travel events and encounters might work. So until then, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club signing off and wishing everyone a pleasant evening and happy gaming. Good night.